This is happening behind your back. You are being monitored. My beloved child, pause for a moment and allow your breath to soften. There is a quiet current moving around you, unseen yet deliberate, and it is not born from fear or control. It is attention. While you continue forward, believing your days are ordinary and unnoticed, something subtle has been paying close regard to the way you carry yourself, the way you choose calm over reaction, the way you keep walking even when certainty does not walk beside you. Stay till the end, because what is forming now is not small, and it has been shaping itself patiently, without asking for your awareness. Behind your back, there has been a steady noticing, not of your words, but of your patterns. How you respond when no one praises you. How you remain steady when plans quietly fall apart. How you hold restraint where impulse would have been easier. These moments have not disappeared into silence. They have been gathered, weighed, and understood. Don't skip this moment, because what feels like stillness has been preparation, and what feels like delay has been alignment finding its exact place. You may sense it as a subtle shift in timing, a feeling that life is adjusting itself without explanation. Doors that once resisted now feel less heavy. Conversations that once mattered have softened into distance. This is not loss. It is refinement. Monitoring does not always mean scrutiny. Sometimes it means trust is being built quietly, away from noise and expectation. Stay till the end, because attention follows potential, and potential is most visible when nothing is being performed. What is happening behind your back has required silence for a reason. If you had known too early, urgency might have replaced patience, and doubt might have interfered with what needed space to grow. So the process remained unseen. Observations continued without pressure. Consistency mattered more than brilliance. Character mattered more than speed. And you, without realizing it, kept choosing the steady path when shortcuts appeared. This is why the watching remained gentle and constant. As time moved, the nature of that attention began to change. Curiosity softened into certainty. Questions resolved themselves without being spoken aloud. The need to watch every step eased, because reliability had already been demonstrated. You may feel this now as a growing calm inside you. A sense that the future no longer feels threatening even without details. Don't skip this awareness. When inner noise quiets on its own, it is often because alignment is nearly complete. Something important is waiting for you, and it does not require force. It requires readiness. Behind the scenes, comparisons have ended. You are no longer being measured against others, but against your own steadiness. The way you did not abandon yourself in uncertainty. The way pressure did not harden you. These qualities are rare, and they do not go unnoticed. Stay till the end, because this phase has been about proving, without knowing you were being observed, that you could carry what comes next without losing your balance. The silence around you has been protective. While others revealed themselves through impatience or excess, you remained measured and intact. This allowed trust to settle quietly, without announcement. Monitoring shifted from observation to safeguarding, ensuring that timing would be precise and interference minimal. You may notice now that distractions fall away more easily, that your tolerance for chaos has diminished. This is not withdrawal. It is focus refining itself. As the unseen work reaches completion, movement begins to schedule itself. Not rushed, not dramatic, but intentional. Opportunities lean toward you without demanding pursuit. Resistance loosens without confrontation. Don't skip this moment. When effort gives way to flow, it is a sign that preparation has done its work. What once felt distant begins to feel inevitable, not because you chased it, but because you became ready to meet it. Behind your back, final confirmations are settling into place. Not about whether you can do more, but about whether you can remain yourself when more arrives. Balance has been the quiet test. Humility has been the measure. And you have answered these questions in the ordinary moments, where no one was watching openly, yet everything mattered. Stay till the end, because once this phase closes, life does not return to how it was. It reorganizes itself around what has been proven. You may already feel the difference. Less doubt, fewer internal debates, a calm certainty that does not need validation. This is what it feels like when alignment finishes its work internally before showing itself externally. The reason nothing dramatic announced itself is because what is real arrives without noise. It simply fits. And when it does, you recognize it instantly. Now the watching begins to fade, not because interest has ended, but because trust has been established. Support replaces observation. Momentum replaces testing. What unfolds next will not feel like a shock, but like a continuation of who you have quietly become. Stay till the end of this understanding. The unseen process has not limited you. It has prepared you to expand without fear. What was happening behind your back was never separate from you. It was shaping your readiness, protecting your timing, and preserving your clarity. And now, as the path opens naturally, you step forward without needing reassurance. Calm, aligned, and steady. The process is complete. The movement ahead is real. And you are ready to meet it exactly as you are. The quiet does not end here. It deepens. What is happening behind your back has now crossed into a subtler phase, one that feels almost invisible because it no longer needs your effort. The attention that once hovered has stepped farther away, not out of disinterest, but out of confidence. This is what happens when trust replaces observation. When consistency speaks so clearly that watching becomes unnecessary. Stay till the end, because this shift is easy to miss if you are still looking for signs instead of feeling the change. You may notice that situations which once demanded explanation now resolve on their own. People respond differently, without you changing your tone or strategy. Resistance no longer pushes back with the same weight. This is not coincidence. It is the effect of alignment settling into place. When preparation completes, life stops testing and starts cooperating. Don't skip this moment, because cooperation is quieter than struggle, and many mistake it for nothing happening. Behind the scenes, the need to evaluate has dissolved. What remains is allowance. Space is being cleared, not dramatically, but precisely. Certain paths lose their pull. Certain conversations no longer repeat themselves. You are not being pulled in many directions anymore, because direction has already been chosen. This is why your energy feels more gathered, less scattered. The narrowing you feel is not limitation. It is focus becoming exact. Something important is moving closer, and it does not need urgency to arrive. It responds to steadiness. That is why you were never rushed. That is why timing stretched longer than expected. If this had arrived earlier, it might have unsettled you. Now, it will not. Stay till the end, because readiness is not about speed, it is about balance. What you are experiencing now is the phase where outcomes begin to secure themselves. Not explored, not questioned, secured. Decisions that affect your direction are no longer tentative. They are quiet, firm, and already in motion. You may sense this as a calm confidence that does not seek reassurance. When certainty arrives without noise, it means the unseen work has finished its task. Behind your back, the narrative has shifted completely. Where there was once observation, there is now respect. Where there was patience, there is now intention. This is why things feel less dramatic. Drama belongs to uncertainty. Certainty moves cleanly. Don't skip this awareness. Clean movement can feel unfamiliar if you are used to resistance. As this phase continues, you may notice that life no longer asks you to prove yourself. You are invited instead. Invited into spaces that match who you have become. Invited into decisions that feel natural instead of forced. Invited into movement that does not disturb your peace. This is how you know it is real. What is meant for you does not require tension to hold it. Stay till the end of this part, because what follows will not arrive all at once. It will arrive in pieces that connect easily, without confusion. Each step will feel right when it appears, not because you planned it, but because you were prepared for it while nothing seemed to be happening. The watching has done its work. The waiting has served its purpose. What unfolds next will not test your strength. It will use it. The movement now is quieter than expectation, yet more certain than doubt. What is unfolding does not announce itself because it no longer needs permission. The phase of being observed has dissolved into something more refined, momentum that does not rush, but does not hesitate either. Stay till the end, because this is the stage where progress feels almost ordinary, and that ordinariness is exactly how you know it is real. You may sense that decisions form themselves with less effort, not because choices have disappeared, but because clarity has narrowed the field. What once felt complicated now feels unnecessary to overthink. Paths that do not belong to you lose their energy. Paths that do belong to you begin to respond. Don't skip this moment. When alignment is complete, life stops arguing with you. Behind what you can see, the need for protection has shifted into support. The unseen work no longer shields you by holding things back, but by smoothing the way forward. This is why timing improves without force. This is why answers arrive without chase. The process has moved from preparation into cooperation. Something important is now close enough to influence your inner state before it fully appears. You may feel more grounded, less reactive, less tempted to explain yourself. This is not withdrawal. It is self-trust taking its place. Stay till the end, because when confidence grows quietly, it is built on something solid. The earlier stillness was not emptiness. It was calibration. Now that calibration begins to express itself in motion. Not dramatic motion. Useful motion. The kind that fits into your life without shaking it apart. This is how you recognize that what is coming belongs to you. It does not demand you become someone else to receive it. Behind your back, the final permissions have already been given. Not permission for you to act, but permission for life to respond. That is a subtle but powerful shift. When response replaces resistance, effort becomes lighter. You may notice that what once drained you no longer has the same effect. Your energy is conserved, directed, respected. Stay till the end of this understanding. The reason nothing feels overwhelming is because this arrival was designed to match your balance. It will not test whether you can survive it. It will confirm that you are ready to live it. As this part unfolds, remember this. What comes next does not need to be chased or defended. It will recognize you as clearly as you recognize it. The waiting is complete. The watching has stepped aside. And what moves forward now does so with calm certainty, guided by the steadiness you built when everything was happening quietly, behind your back. The shift continues without spectacle, and that is its strength. What is unfolding now does not rely on signs or reassurance. It relies on steadiness. The kind that holds when nothing needs to be proven. Stay till the end, because this phase can feel deceptively simple, and simplicity often hides the deepest movement. You may notice that your reactions have softened. Not from indifference, but from clarity. Situations that once pulled you into overthinking now pass with minimal effort. This is not because they matter less, but because you are no longer entangled in them. When alignment settles, engagement becomes selective. Energy goes where it belongs, and nowhere else asks for it. Behind the scenes, coordination replaces correction. Life is no longer adjusting you, it is adjusting around you. This is why timing feels kinder. Why conversations reach resolution without strain. Why obstacles dissolve before they demand confrontation. Don't skip this moment. When resistance fades quietly, it is easy to overlook how far you have come. What approaches you now does not seek to interrupt your peace. It seeks to work with it. That is the signal you have been waiting for, even if you did not know how to name it. Earlier, arrival would have unsettled your balance. Now, it will reinforce it. The waiting changed you just enough to make this possible. You may sense a growing confidence that does not announce itself. It does not need validation. It simply knows when to move and when to remain still. This is not hesitation. It is discernment. Stay till the end, because discernment is the reward of patience, and it cannot be rushed into existence. Behind your back, alignment has moved from planning into execution. Quiet steps are being taken that you do not need to manage. Outcomes are forming without your constant attention. This is the difference between effort-driven progress and readiness-driven progress. One exhausts, the other sustains. As this part unfolds, remember that nothing important is being withheld. What is meant to meet you is doing so at a pace that preserves your clarity. If it feels calm, that is because calm is now the correct speed. The earlier urgency has no role here. The movement ahead will feel natural, almost familiar, as if you have been walking toward it long before you could name it. That familiarity is not coincidence. It is recognition. The kind that happens when preparation and timing finally agree. Stay with this awareness. The process has not paused. It has refined itself, and what continues now does not need observation or testing. It moves forward because the foundation beneath it is steady, complete, and quietly strong. What unfolds now carries a different weight, not heavier, but more settled. The sense of anticipation that once hovered has softened into presence. You are no longer waiting for confirmation, because confirmation has already taken root within you. Stay till the end, because this stage is subtle, and subtlety is where permanence forms. You may notice that your focus has sharpened without effort. Distractions fall away on their own. Not because you force them out, but because they no longer align with where your attention naturally rests. This is not discipline. It is direction becoming clear. When direction is clear, excess dissolves without struggle. Behind the quiet flow of your days, life is responding with precision. Not haste, not delay. Precision. The difference matters. Haste disrupts. Delay frustrates. Precision fits. What approaches you now does not require adjustment to your values or your pace. It arrives in a way that respects both. Don't skip this moment. Respect is one of the clearest signs that alignment has completed its work. The earlier sense of being guided has transformed into self-trust. You are less concerned with how things appear and more aware of how they feel. Decisions carry less weight because they carry more clarity. This is not ease without responsibility. It is responsibility without confusion. Behind your back, the unseen framework that supported your waiting is withdrawing, not leaving you exposed, but allowing you to stand on your own stability. This is why you feel more capable without feeling pressured. Support has not vanished. It has integrated. Stay till the end of this understanding. What follows will not demand that you stretch beyond yourself. It will invite you to move fully as yourself. The difference is essential. Stretching exhausts. Alignment sustains. As this phase continues, you may sense that outcomes no longer feel uncertain. Not because everything is known, but because uncertainty no longer unsettles you. You have learned how to move without needing guarantees. That learning is now being rewarded. The motion ahead will not arrive all at once. It will unfold in steps that feel obvious when they appear. You will recognize them not by intensity, but by fit. When something belongs to you, it fits quietly. Remain present with this shift. Nothing important is missing. Nothing essential is delayed. What is happening now is the natural continuation of what was prepared in silence. And it moves forward with the calm assurance of something that no longer needs to be watched, because it has already been trusted. The calm you are experiencing now is not a pause. It is momentum that has learned how to move without noise. What once required effort now responds to intention, and that shift changes everything. Stay till the end, because this is the phase where progress becomes almost invisible to others, yet unmistakable to you. You may notice that your inner dialogue has softened. Questions that once repeated themselves no longer demand answers. Not because answers appeared, but because trust replaced the need to ask. This is a quiet but decisive change. When trust settles in, movement becomes cleaner. Choices stop competing with each other. They line up. Behind the ordinary rhythm of your days, coordination continues. Not correction. Not testing. Coordination. Elements that once felt disconnected begin to arrange themselves naturally. You do not have to manage this. In fact, managing would interrupt it. Don't skip this awareness. Sometimes the most important work happens when you stop interfering and allow what is already aligned to move. What approaches you now respects your boundaries. It does not rush you. It does not demand explanation. It meets you where you are, not where you pretend to be. This is how you know it belongs to you. Anything that requires you to abandon your balance was never part of this path. You may sense a growing steadiness in how you respond to uncertainty. Not indifference. Not avoidance. Steadiness. The kind that allows you to remain present without needing immediate resolution. This quality was formed during the quiet phase, when nothing seemed to be happening. It is now becoming useful. Behind the scenes, the need for oversight has fully dissolved. What remains is allowance. Space has been made for forward motion that does not need supervision. This is why things feel less tense. Tension belonged to preparation. Ease belongs to alignment. Stay till the end of this understanding. The reason progress feels subtle is because it is no longer correcting imbalance. It is expressing balance. Expression always looks simpler than correction. As this movement continues, you may notice that you are no longer seeking reassurance from outside. Decisions feel complete once made. You do not revisit them unnecessarily. This is not rigidity. It is clarity holding its ground. Nothing important is about to overwhelm you. What unfolds next will arrive at a pace that preserves your calm. It will integrate into your life instead of disrupting it. And when you look back, you will recognize this stretch of quiet confidence as the moment where everything finally began to move forward without resistance, exactly as it was meant to. What settles now is a kind of knowing that does not rush to speak. It rests beneath your thoughts, steady and reliable, guiding without pulling. This is not the excitement of something new, but the confidence of something right. Stay till the end, because this stage often passes unnoticed by those who expect change to announce itself loudly. You may feel less inclined to explain your choices, less interested in defending your direction, not because others no longer matter, but because your path no longer depends on permission. When alignment matures, it removes the need for justification. Movement becomes internal first, and only later visible. Behind the surface of routine moments, continuity is forming. Not sudden shifts, but a consistent forward motion that does not reverse itself. What once felt fragile now holds. What once felt uncertain now supports weight. Don't skip this moment. Stability is the foundation that allows progress to last. What approaches you now is not testing your limits. It is meeting your capacity. That distinction is important. Tests exhaust. Capacity sustains. You were shaped quietly so that what arrives could stay, not just appear and disappear. This is why nothing feels overwhelming. It was designed to integrate, not disrupt. You may notice that your patience no longer feels like waiting. It feels like presence. Time is no longer something to endure, but something that moves with you. This is one of the clearest signs that preparation has ended. When time stops feeling heavy, alignment has taken over. Behind your awareness, support continues without needing direction. You are not being pushed forward, but accompanied. That companionship is subtle. It shows up as smoother transitions, cleaner decisions, fewer unnecessary detours. Life begins to respond instead of resist. Stay till the end of this understanding. What continues from here will not require effort to maintain. It will require attention, honesty, and steadiness, all of which you already carry. Nothing essential is missing. Nothing needs to be forced into place. As this phase unfolds, you may realize that the most significant shift is not external at all. It is the quiet confidence that allows you to move without fear of losing yourself. And that confidence is the result of everything that once happened silently, patiently, and deliberately, behind your back. What continues now carries a steadiness that does not seek momentum, because momentum has already found its rhythm. You are no longer adjusting to change, change is adjusting to you. This is why your days feel more coherent, even when they are full. Stay till the end, because coherence is often mistaken for stagnation by those who expect constant disruption. You may notice that your instincts feel sharper, yet calmer. Decisions arise without inner debate. You act, and then you move on, without revisiting or second-guessing. This is not haste. It is alignment expressing itself through clarity. When clarity settles, it removes the need to circle back. Behind the quiet progress of your life, stability is being reinforced. Not reinforced through repetition, but through consistency. What you choose today matches what you chose yesterday, and what you choose tomorrow will not contradict it. This continuity is powerful. Don't skip this moment. Continuity is what turns progress into direction. What is approaching you now does not compete for your attention. It fits into it. You do not feel pulled away from yourself to engage with it. You feel more yourself by allowing it closer. This is how you recognize that what is unfolding belongs to the version of you that was formed in silence. You may sense that your relationship with effort has changed. You still act, but without strain. You still care, but without attachment to outcome. This balance did not arrive by accident. It was shaped while nothing seemed to be happening. It is now becoming the way you move through everything. Behind your awareness, unnecessary complexity is being removed. Not dramatically, but efficiently. What does not serve your direction loses access to your energy. This is not rejection. It is refinement completing its work. When refinement finishes, life feels simpler without becoming smaller. Stay till the end of this understanding. The simplicity you feel now is not the absence of depth. It is depth without resistance. It allows you to move forward without carrying what no longer belongs. As this phase continues, you may realize that certainty no longer feels heavy. It feels light. It does not trap you. It frees you from hesitation. You are not locked into a path. You are aligned with one. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing is delayed. What unfolds next will arrive in ways that feel natural, almost expected. And when it does, you will not need to ask whether this is right. You will recognize it by how little it asks you to change, and how clearly it allows you to continue exactly as you are, grounded, steady, and moving forward with quiet confidence. The rhythm you are moving with now is no longer something you think about. It carries you without instruction, without resistance. This is the difference between effort and alignment. Effort asks for constant attention. Alignment sustains itself. Stay till the end, because this stage often feels so natural that people forget how much had to settle for it to exist. You may notice that your awareness is less scattered, not because life became simpler, but because you no longer give equal weight to everything. What matters stands out clearly. What does not matter fades without conflict. This is discernment working quietly, doing its job without announcing itself. Don't skip this moment. Discernment is one of the final signs that preparation has completed its work. Behind the flow of ordinary events, direction has stabilized. You are no longer correcting your course every few steps. Small adjustments happen instinctively, without disruption. This is what it feels like when you are no longer learning how to move forward, but simply moving forward. The difference is subtle, but it changes the entire experience. What is approaching you now does not introduce urgency. It introduces clarity. You feel ready without needing to prepare. You respond without needing to rehearse. This readiness was not sudden. It was built slowly, through quiet consistency. While nothing outwardly demanded it, now it expresses itself naturally. You may sense that your relationship with uncertainty has changed. It no longer unsettles you. It no longer demands immediate resolution. You can hold unanswered questions without tension. This is not avoidance. It is confidence in process. When confidence settles, patience stops feeling like waiting and starts feeling like trust. Behind your awareness, the last traces of evaluation have faded. There is no longer a sense of being measured or weighed. What remains is permission. Permission for life to meet you at your level. Permission for movement to happen without friction. This is why things feel less heavy, even when responsibility remains. Stay till the end of this understanding. The calm you feel is not the absence of ambition. It is ambition that no longer needs to prove itself. Direction does not push. It pulls gently, and you follow without resistance. As this phase continues, you may realize that progress no longer feels dramatic. It feels stable. And stability is what allows progress to endure. Nothing here needs to be rushed, corrected, or defended. It simply continues, guided by the clarity formed when everything important was happening quietly, steadily, and without distraction. What unfolds further now carries a sense of ease that does not dull awareness. You are present, attentive, and calm at the same time. This balance is not accidental. It is the result of having nothing left to prove and nothing left to defend. Stay till the end, because this balance is the quiet signal that the foundation beneath you is complete. You may notice that your attention rests more fully in the moment. Not because the future disappeared, but because it no longer demands constant negotiation. Planning becomes lighter. Anticipation loses its edge. You move through your day with a grounded confidence that does not seek reassurance. Don't skip this moment. When anticipation softens, it means certainty has taken its place. Behind the scenes, continuity is now doing the work. What you set in motion continues without correction. Effort does not need to be reapplied. This is what it feels like when alignment begins to carry weight on its own. You are no longer managing momentum, momentum is matching you. What draws closer now does not disrupt your rhythm. It aligns with it. You do not need to reorganize yourself to make space. Space has already been created through refinement. This is how you recognize that what arrives belongs. It integrates instead of interrupts. You may sense a growing trust in your own timing. You know when to act and when to pause without consulting fear or urgency. This discernment was shaped when stillness asked you to listen rather than react. It now guides you quietly, reliably, without pressure. Behind your awareness, simplification continues. Not by removing responsibility, but by clarifying it. You know what is yours to carry and what is not. This clarity preserves your energy and keeps your direction intact. Stay till the end of this understanding. Knowing what not to carry is as important as knowing what to pursue. As this phase moves forward, progress becomes less visible to others and more undeniable to you. You feel it in how little you resist, in how quickly you recover, in how steadily you move. These are the signs of readiness that do not need confirmation. Nothing here requires urgency. Nothing asks you to rush ahead of yourself. What unfolds next will meet you where you already stand, balanced and clear. And when it does, you will recognize that this calm progression is not a pause before something meaningful, but the way something meaningful moves when it is finally aligned. What carries you forward now does so without insistence. There is no pressure to arrive, no tension about timing. You are moving because movement feels natural, not because something is missing. Stay till the end, because this is the phase where fulfillment begins quietly, without the dramatic signals people often expect. You may notice that your sense of self feels less reactive. Praise does not pull you upward, and criticism does not pull you down. This is not detachment. It is balance finding its center. When balance is present, external noise loses its authority. Don't skip this moment. Inner neutrality is one of the clearest signs that alignment has taken root. Behind the unfolding of ordinary interactions, integrity is now doing the work. You act in ways that feel consistent without effort. You choose what aligns without needing justification. This coherence was built while you were unseen, when choices mattered more than outcomes. It now supports you quietly, without demand. What approaches you next does not challenge your stability. It complements it. You will not feel stretched beyond yourself to receive it. Instead, you will feel recognized. That recognition is subtle but unmistakable. It carries the calm certainty of something that belongs exactly where it lands. You may sense that your relationship with progress has changed. You no longer measure it by speed or intensity. You feel it through continuity. Each step connects cleanly to the next. This is not slow movement. It is uninterrupted movement. Stay till the end, because uninterrupted movement builds what lasts. Behind your awareness, alignment continues to protect your clarity. Distractions may still appear, but they no longer linger. Doubt may still surface, but it no longer settles. You observe, adjust, and continue. This is the quiet competence formed during the unseen phase, now expressed naturally. As this part unfolds, notice how little resistance you encounter. Not because challenges are gone, but because they no longer derail you. You respond instead of react. You move instead of pause. This is not urgency. It is confidence finding its rhythm. Nothing here asks you to rush or wait. You are exactly where movement makes sense. And as you continue, you may realize that what once felt like preparation was actually the beginning of this steadiness. The calm motion you feel now is not leading to something meaningful. It is meaningful in itself, and it carries you forward with assurance, clarity, and an ease that does not need explanation. The steadiness you are carrying now has begun to shape how the world meets you. Not through force, not through demand, but through quiet recognition. You are no longer moving toward balance. You are moving from it. Stay till the end, because this distinction marks the point where effort finally gives way to flow. You may notice that your responses come from a deeper place. Not rushed, not delayed, but timely. Words land where they need to. Silence appears when it serves you better. This is not strategy. It is presence doing its work. When presence leads, very little needs correction afterward. Behind the gentle pace of your days, trust has settled into permanence. You trust yourself to choose well. You trust timing to support you. You trust that what belongs will not pass you by. This trust does not make you passive. It makes you precise. Don't skip this moment. Precision is what allows progress to remain clean. What continues to move toward you now does so without urgency. It does not seek attention. It does not announce importance. It simply fits. You recognize it not by intensity, but by how naturally it aligns with your values, your pace, your sense of direction. This is how you know it is real. You may feel less compelled to look ahead constantly. The present moment holds enough clarity to guide your next step. Planning still exists, but it no longer carries anxiety. Anticipation has softened into readiness. This is the mark of someone who no longer doubts their ability to meet what comes. Behind your awareness, the final layers of adjustment are dissolving. Nothing is being rearranged dramatically because nothing is out of place. The structure that was built in silence now holds without effort. This is why life feels simpler, even when responsibility remains. Stay till the end of this understanding. The simplicity you are experiencing is not the absence of growth. It is growth that no longer struggles against itself. It moves forward without friction, supported by the clarity you earned while nothing seemed to be happening. As you continue, notice how little you need reassurance. You do not search for confirmation. You recognize it when it appears. This recognition is calm, grounded, and unmistakable. It does not excite your nerves. It settles your mind. Nothing ahead requires you to change who you are. What unfolds next will meet you at your level of steadiness and invite you forward without disruption. And as this quiet progression continues, you may realize that this is not the moment before something meaningful begins. This is the moment meaning has learned how to move with you, evenly, confidently, and without resistance. What carries forward now does not feel like anticipation anymore. It feels like familiarity, as if the ground beneath your steps has already adjusted to your weight, already knows your pace. You are no longer approaching something unknown. You are moving within something that has been forming around you for a long time. Stay till the end, because this sense of familiarity is the clearest sign that the unseen work has reached maturity. You may notice that confidence no longer rises and falls with circumstances. It stays. Even when situations shift, your center remains intact. This is not stubbornness. It is grounding. When grounding is present, movement becomes reliable. You do not rush ahead, and you do not hesitate. You move when movement is appropriate, and stillness no longer feels like a problem to solve. Behind the everyday flow of events, support has become subtle and constant. Not intervention, not correction, but continuity. Things line up without requiring persuasion. Timing adjusts without explanation. This is what it feels like when alignment stops being an effort and starts being an environment. Don't skip this moment. Environments shape outcomes more than intentions do. What continues to meet you now does not compete with your attention. It respects it. You are not pulled away from yourself to engage with what is unfolding. You feel more centered by allowing it closer. This is the difference between something that distracts and something that belongs. You may sense that your relationship with control has softened. You still act with intention, but you no longer grip outcomes tightly. This is not disengagement. It is trust expressing itself through ease. When ease replaces tension, progress becomes sustainable. Behind your awareness, the final traces of urgency are dissolving. There is no pressure to arrive at a specific moment. You are already in motion, and motion no longer depends on impatience. Stay till the end of this understanding. Impatience belonged to uncertainty. Certainty moves quietly. As this phase continues, notice how naturally your energy organizes itself. You give time to what matters. You step back from what drains you. These choices no longer feel heavy. They feel obvious. Obvious choices are the result of long preparation done in silence. Nothing ahead asks you to become sharper, faster, or louder. What unfolds next will meet the version of you that is already present, the one shaped by steadiness, clarity, and restraint. And as this quiet movement carries you forward, you may realize that this is not a transition you are passing through. This is the rhythm you were being prepared to live in, calm, aligned, and strong enough to continue without resistance.